Hi there, I'm Jeff Dixon, and we're going on an Easter egg hunt. We are counting down to Easter in some ways. We're recording this around Easter time, and we're recording the series to bolster up and explain a little bit more some of the things we've been talking about in a series entitled Cracking the Extraordinary, which is our Easter series here at the Church at 434. Now, if you haven't seen the series, you're welcome to go back and watch it. If not, what we're going to actually do is find a detail or two in Scripture and help explain that just a little bit. Pull that out where you can see it maybe a little bit clearer or understand something about it maybe you didn't know before. And then that Easter egg becomes a part of our collection, but that Easter egg also brings a vividness and a richness and a fullness to the story that sometimes we miss in our quick read, or we're so familiar with it that we don't pay attention. This particular episode deals with the Judas Kiss. We read in Scripture that Judas led this cohort of Roman soldiers and the temple police to where Jesus was. These people are carrying torches and lanterns, long burning lanterns that would burn long into the night. The anticipation was that Jesus might try to get away. And so they were prepared for a long night of searching and lighting up the Mount of Olives, lighting up the Garden of Gethsemane. And so in your mind, if you can get this mental picture of all of these soldiers and group of people coming to arrest Jesus, filling up this area that we've called the Gethsemane Grotto. They get there, and then Judas has a signal. He said, I will give you a signal. He's the one that I kiss. And so that's become known as the Judas Kiss. And so in that moment, he walks up to Jesus, and he calls him Rabbi, and he gives him a kiss. And that's the signal so everyone knows that Jesus is now in front of them. That kiss, believe it or not, sounds weird to us today because most of us just don't walk up to somebody and give them a kiss. But this is a kind of kiss that would have been very common in that first century. It would have been very common for a student to give a rabbi this type of kiss. It was a sign of affection. It was a sign of respect, a sign of admiration. And a greeting that had a level of intimacy just from the standpoint that I really do care about you. Interestingly enough, this Judas kiss also would have been followed from Judas with a knife in the back for Jesus. He is there as the betrayer, which makes it so painful. But the other thing about the kiss that you need to understand is that in Zechariah chapter 11, verses 12 through 13, we have some details that pertain to Judas. What he did, the way he did it, the amount that he betrayed Jesus for. All of that was prophesied. Zechariah tells us that the betrayal would take place over 30 pieces of silver, which would have been the price that you would have paid to purchase a slave. Zechariah talks about those 30 pieces of silver being thrown back into the temple. Those 30 pieces of silver have a connection to a potter's field that obviously is a part of the Judas experience. And so all of that happens so that prophecy is fulfilled. The reason is because long before Judas ever decided to betray Jesus, Zechariah had prophesied how it was going to unfold. And that's the Easter egg. Sometimes we think that Judas kiss, that's just weird. No, that happened the way that it did. The whole sequence of events to get Judas there is the fulfillment of prophecy, because it had to happen just this way. Because no matter how bad it seems, Jesus was still in charge. And so when you hear that, and when you read that story, understand, as weird as it might sound, or as odd as it might sound, and as brutal as that betrayal was, it unfolded. And it unfolded because Jesus knew exactly how it was going to unfold, and it fit into God's big plan, and also fulfilled a prophecy from years before that had zero chance of actually happening. And yet, it did. And it happened exactly as it had been foretold. So even in those last moments, we have that sense of God's plan unfolding in a very perfect way, in exactly the way God had said it would happen, so that Jesus could accomplish what he came to do. Another Easter egg for us to discover. Stay with us. We're going to find a few more and unpack them for you as we continue going on an egg hunt.